Naked and Afraid, Season 16, Episode 1 review. Yes, good people, it seems like it was just yesterday when I reviewed the last episode of Naked and Afraid Castaways. But I'm back to share my thoughts and feelings on the new season of Naked and Afraid. So for this review, I'll be discussing the Season 16 premiere, I'll give my thoughts on the Survivalist, so without any further delay, let's jump right in. The Season 16 premiere of Naked and Afraid brings us yet another fan challenge. For those that don't know, the Naked and Afraid fan challenges usually involve two fans of the show with very limited survival skills, and these fans must endure a 14-day challenge, which can be easier said than done. When I watched the last fan challenge for Season 15, I wasn't very impressed with the overall episode, because I thought that production kinda went out of their way to ensure that the participating fans made it to Day 14 and Extraction. And this was done by giving the Survivalist an ideal location with plenty of food or resources to use. So I went into this episode hoping that the show would make this fan challenge a little more challenging, so to say. Now the fans that are participating for this challenge are Miley and John. Miley is an ICU nurse who comes into the challenge with some knowledge on how to fish and hunt. What is up for debate is whether Miley had ever fished or hunted without using any advanced hunting items. I truly believe that Miley could have been an asset in the challenge by providing her medical expertise when needed. But because her biggest concern going into the challenge was her being fearful of having bugs crawling up her genitals, I knew that she would be a handful for the episode. John, on the other hand, was a banker, but he had some knowledge of shelter building, fire making, and water purification. So right off the bat, it seemed like Miley would be heavily reliant on John to help her through the challenge. Now Miley and John meet for the first time, and my immediate reaction was that it was nice to see two survivalists meeting in the nude, and there was really no awkwardness to the situation. If anything, I would be willing to bet that Miley and John found one another attractive, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went on a date after the show. Throughout their time together, they had great chemistry, and there were really no moments of unnecessary drama, particularly when things got rough for the two of them. The challenge location was in Mexico, and while the weather was a little warm, Miley and John were placed in a pretty ideal location for their fan challenge. There was a large body of fresh water where they could gather water, fish, and truly hunt all the nearby animals, and there was also a nearby cave which made it easy for John and Miley to set up a shelter. However, the longer I watched this episode, the more I realized that my concerns would truly become a reality. And that is that John essentially carried Miley all the way to the finish line. For one, Miley claimed that her specialty was hunting and fishing, yet her biggest contribution to the team's food intake was Miley nearly drowning just to grab a claw off of a single crawfish. She never bothered making a trap for crawfish and shrimp, and nor did she bring any fishing lures with her to go fish with. On the flip side, John nearly caught all of the remaining food for the two of them. He also made his own crawfish trap, which yielded a few shrimp. John even got the fire started within a minute after Miley had struggled to get it going for several minutes. So again, I admire the positive attitude that Miley brought into the challenge, but I think that she was in over her head when deciding to come on the show. Nevertheless, the two make it to the end of the 14-day challenge, and I believe that they may become lifelong friends after this experience. Now when it comes to the episode as a whole, I don't think that this episode should be aired as a season premiere. To me, the episode was a little too predictable in terms of whether Miley and John would make it to the finish. I admire last season's premiere because there was some level of anticipation when it came to the survivalists overcoming their obstacles. But for this fan challenge, it was essentially their challenge to lose. But I think that John may have a future in participating in other Naked and Afraid challenges down the line. I think Miley should stick to nursing. But this marks the end of my review. If you have any comments related to the episode or my review, feel free to leave them below in the comment section and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.